Oh, look. It's time for Listen to Reading. I'm going to move with purpose. We're getting our new card. This is a real interesting one, huh, Bob? So remember, as we read your story, as we take turns reading, we have to remember to talk about the characters, the setting where the story takes place, the problem that the character faces, the events that happen in the beginning, middle, and end, and then the ending is obviously a part of that, okay? All right, Bob, let's get started. Ollie the Stomper. Oh, I'm sorry, do you want to read first? Okay, go ahead, Bob. That's a really good point. Bob was just asking, since we're going to have to do our five-finger retell at the end of the book, we're wondering about the characters. We know that Gossie and Gertie and, of course, Ollie are the characters in the story, and that Ollie is a main character because it's all about Ollie. We agree about that. But we're wondering if, because they go to the piggery, if the pig is a character. I don't know, Bob. I'm thinking the pig doesn't talk, but he is or she is in the story. So I think if we were talking about the minor characters, like characters that are just kind of there in the background, the pig would be one of the minor characters. So when we get to that part, I think we can mention the pig. Okay. All right, your turn. Go ahead and read that. And they do. That's such a good book. I like that every time I read it. Okay, Bob. Okay. Can I go first? Okay. So, the main character in this book is Ollie, and I know that because the whole book is about Ollie. But there are other characters too, like Gossie and Gertie, who are very important because they help Ollie. They are kind of part of his problem and solution. And then there's also some other characters that aren't as important, like the pig. The setting of this book is Ollie's farm and also the area where they live. It's all outside, and then they also go to the piggery. So it's all on the farm where Ollie is living. And I can show you because see, I mean, there's hay. There are clues that it's on a farm. There's hay for other animals to eat, and going to the piggery. Usually farms have piggery, so it never says. And there's pumpkin, like, because sometimes on a farm they grow vegetables or fruit like pumpkin. So there are just little clues like the tire spring. Oh, the mouse is a character too. Even though it never said it was on a farm, there were just buildings and other clues that made it look like a farm to me. No, I don't think, I know it looks like a castle, but it wouldn't make any sense for it to be a castle. How would that make sense? Anyway, so I said the characters, I said the setting, I think it's a farm. The problem is that Ollie wants boots, and he's kind of pouting about it. So the events are, in the beginning, Ollie is stomping around following Gossie and Gertie, and Gossie is wearing boots and Gertie is wearing boots, and Ollie is not wearing any boots. In the middle, he continues to follow them, and then finally he gets so angry and shouts that he wants boots. So Gossie and Gertie are really nice, and they each give him one of their boots. But then Ollie doesn't like them as much as he thought they would because he says they're too hot. And at the end, when he gets rid of the boots, so do Gossie and Gertie. So they all go around without any boots. And that's how the problem is solved. All right, Bob, I did my five-finger retell. I told about the character, setting, problem, events, and ending. Now it's your turn. Remember to be to level 2. Do, 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 do. So readers, today Bob and I demonstrated using the five-finger retell card. This is the hardest card you've had yet. It's taking everything you've learned about fiction, because this is hard to do with nonfiction, right? Nonfiction has a different structure, and we'll talk about that later. But when you're reading a fiction text, you know that it has characters, it has a beginning, middle, and end, and it has a problem and solution. So with your five-finger retell, you have something to do on every finger. You tell the characters, the setting where the story takes place, and the time in which it takes place, the problem, the events in order always, beginning, middle, and then, of course, the ending, where you also kind of talk about how the problem was solved. Both you and your partner will take time turns doing a five-finger retell. And just like Bob and I did, you might disagree, which is the best part, because then you get to grow each other's thinking and share your different ideas. And maybe one of you will end up changing your mind, like Bob did about the castle. Happy reading!